What's your ADAT input doing? Nothing? Make the most of it. Introducing the new Focusrite Octopre Mark II and Octopre Mark II Dynamic. Two great ways to make the most of your ADAT input. Focusrite, the Mike Pre company.
This is still NAMM 2010, although it feels like we've been here for weeks now, doesn't it, Dave?
18 years.
Yeah. So Kurzweil, they have a new flagship keyboard, the PC3K, which seems to do everything and more.
Absolutely, it's our workstation PC3 with the addition of 128 megabytes of sample memory, and it's non-volatile sample memory. You can load your user samples in, turn the unit off, power back on, the samples are still there. That's a very new feature that was highly sought after for the past 10 years by any pros who are using samplers in a live setting. The K implies backwards compatibility with our K series. The K2000, K2500, K2600, all K series samples can be loaded in here with 100% compatibility, and K series programs will have about 70% compatibility. Users might have to tweak their sounds a little bit to get them to sound exactly the same, but all the DSP and synthesis tools in here are a big step up from the K series, so the end result will be everything will sound a little bit better, so there's a payoff for the time invested needed to tweak the sounds. Can take you through the sound set a little bit. The classic Kurzweil grand piano. It's a Steinway D. We tried to give you some variety with different flavors of piano tunes. Some brighter ones, some darker ones. Some classic pianos that sound like vintage recordings from the 60s and 70s. Got upright and tack pianos, upright. That was actually a program I created for the Brian Wilson Smile album tour, and they liked it so much that they wound up replacing the actual tack piano on the album with the Kurzweil program. And we tried to have it do everything and do it well. We call it the solid gold Swiss Army knife. Vintage keys, orchestral sounds, virtual analog, organ simulators. We have great electric pianos with the classic tremolo back and forth. Real-time control over effects parameters. Wurlitzers. Whenever possible, we try to name programs after recognizable songs or groups as opposed to naming them after a certain model of Wurlitzer. Working players really appreciate seeing a sound that they recognize from a song. They know exactly what the context for it would be. Every category of sound on here we really tried to work on and improve from past models over past years. With all the real-time controllers, these sliders here, you can hit the info button and it tells you what the sliders do, gives you notes on how the song should be played, sound should be played. We got organ simulator. Distortion. And a full complement of orchestral sounds. There we go. a full-blown virtual analog synthesizer. That's good for now.
Seems seriously flexible to me. So what's the price of this going to be? I mean, it's obviously not a budget keyboard.
MSRP, it's actually, for what you get under the hood, it's actually quite reasonable. The MSRP will be $4,100, so street price will be a good chunk less than that.
Yeah.
And you get a full-blown sequencer setup mode where you can do splits and layers and zones, up to 16 zones. Each of the 16 zones has its own arpeggiator, has its own riff sequencer, real powerful stuff. The setup mode is why all the Broadway guys use our stuff. This keyboard was actually requested by Andrew Lloyd Webber. He approached us needing a replacement for the 2600, and we needed something with sample memory, so we created a PC3 for the guys with sample memory that has all the MIDI functionality and control that they need, because otherwise they insist on using these aging 15-year-old keyboards of ours.
Yeah. Well, that's some testament to your old keyboards that they still use them.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're very pleased about all that.
So when's this shipping?
Should be shipping somewhere between April and May.
So not too far away.
Not too far away.
Thanks very much, Dave. Appreciate that.